Greetings and welcome to Harvest Massive Encounter. We are on a planet which is a little bit like Mars, but not. We sent in harvesters and terraformers. They now want to kill us. Our goal is to grab all the resources, and how do we do that? We use solar plants which produce energy. They cost 50 credits and take 15 energy to build. As you can see, they pulse out 1 energy per second. We have the energy links which cost 2 credits and take 5 energy to build. We have the miners which cost 5 credits and 10 energy to build. And as you can see, they do little bits of mining. They do 1 mine per tick per credit, so we need a lot of those. We have the laser towers, 15 credits to build, 10 energy to actually get up and running, and they have energy to use. They do firing of the death, as you can see here. They're getting closer, and that's our resources. And then we have missiles. We have 3 different types of upgrades. We have basic single shot, dumbfire, we have lock-on, and we have the mortar. Our goal, last as long as we can. Our reality, probably not that. So we're going to grab as much resources as we possibly can to expand, to grow, and to get rid of this because it's annoying me. So we're going to be building and building and building. The more energy we have, the better. So we need a nice solid core of harvesters, a nice solid core of energy, and we will see what we can do. So every single weapon we build in the first 50 waves is a waste of resources. Of course, we need it to stop ourselves being a waste of death. Let's see what we can see. The very first active target is on the field. There are basic targets. You can see here there's a lot of them. These guys will move slowly, attack slowly. They pick one target and they will kill it if they can. Energy of the lasers. The white line is where it connects with the energy. The red line is where it can fire. You can connect one laser to another laser, but we don't have the luxury of that yet, so we're going to have one single defensive laser. As we expand, there we go, it's charged, we grow, and we fight to the death. First target is in the way. When you hit the enemy, they will slow down or be pushed back, so there's a little bit of physics involved. We, of course, do not want the enemy to be too close to me. So the first death is there. Anything destroyed early on is, of course, going to be a big problem. So we just need to make sure everything is okay. Every single weapon needs to be killed. Of course, the biggest issue will be if I ever lose these guys. These guys are going to be my most expensive and well defended because they are 50 credits. 50 credits at the beginning is a lot of credits. So let's make sure we never lose the center and keep expanding and growing north. We need all the resources. I'd rather have to sell my miners for half the resources I used to get them, then spend 1 miner and then wait even longer. Time is actually a luxury we do not in fact have, so always overbuild, always overspend. We can get some of our money back. We must desaturate, destroy and desensitize ourselves, or something to that effect anyway. The basic mining collection route is now done. As we put energy to go through certain ways, it'll only go that direction. It'll power things up and get the resources flowing. Of course, we need a lot more resource. We're doing a lot of expansion, but every little thing is going to be alright, except maybe there. That is now suddenly a big issue. There we go, second turret up and running. We always need to make sure we have turrets up and running. When the stuff goes like this, purple, we can sell them. With X, it sells all the easy ones. We can just make sure that is fine. As you can see, the attacks are now coming from every direction, so that means more help is needed. The more resources needed, the more help is needed. We are doing okay for now. It's got too close. Please don't hit anything important. Oh, we're fine. And that's why we need more defences. But again, defences are a waste of resources this early on. I have a few basic defences going up around the network, as you can see. We are steadily and continuously expanding what we need. We will be needing constant new defences, however. It's a problem, but it is what it is. And when we build past the line, we expand and see in that way. The enemy can only spawn off of the map. So if we can see past that chunk, we can obviously build that way and build better longer range defences. Right now, of course, we don't have that, but we will soon have that. The biggest thing we need to do is always be expanding outwards. We shouldn't be taking on too much resources near us. We need to take all the resources. So we should always be expanding as far away as humanly possible. If we can get away with it, we must always be building, mining, extracting, and all that good stuff. We must always be doing that. The resources must flow, the spice must flow. A central mining operation is now done. I'm going to be putting a central laser in here and building a doom laser. A doom laser is multiple lasers connected together. We do not yet have that, but as you can see, we're probably going to need it because the enemy is getting uppity. uppity and multiply. We don't want either of those things to be in fact a thing, and they are. Massive expansion to the north is needed. We're taking everything we can get. Everything must be taken. The spice really must flow. And the central section is ready. We'll put a laser in there and begin production of the death laser. Initial expansion is going well. We are several waves in, and as you can see, we're pulling in huge amounts of resources. If need be, you can suddenly put down a lot of lasery defences, although I'd like to get the central core looking better. So give me many seconds, because this is going to involve planning. So this is what I've come up with. A 3-layer of defensive lasers. As you can see, it costs a lot. But all of these lasers can connect to a central laser, which I'll show in a second. And then we can obviously have a big, powerful death laser. It won't defend against everything, but this should be a good core. Unless that touches, in which case it's going to kill some of our stuff right away. Please build me a laser. Please do not have this explode. Come on. Power a laser. Power a laser. Oh, please don't have this get destroyed. Come on. Power some lasers. Of course, if nothing's built, we just have an issue. Luckily, things got built. There was no panic whatsoever. Of course, all of these being built, our main mining system will be offline for a bit, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. We might begin losing some of our external mining system. We now have death mites. I think they're called death mites. Yes, death mites are an annoyance. They have a bit more health than obviously the basic guys. And if they get destroyed, they will go to your nearest mineral patch to steal a mineral and repair themselves. So you need to give long-range fire, which will mean missiles now need to be involved, or basic death lasers. So we now need even more resources. They might take out a couple of the miners, but again, it's a risk I'm willing to take to get the central core of our laser operation up and running, which, you know, we are not yet there. Will the lasers hold out? No. Let's sell you. Please do not eat my resources. Of course, like I say, we still need to get up there, so we're going to lose a couple of things, but whatever. Build, and grow. And here come the little mites. These are an annoyance. We can get rid of them dead easy. But this is why we need basic lasers too, because the little mites will, of course, be very hard to target through a death laser. They move too fast. Let's start massively building and expanding. There we go. We're up and running. Lasers are now firing. We will lose a few things, like I've said, but it is fair and it is fine. It's not, because I kind of needed all those resources, but I will take them. Everything's exploding. Everything's exploding. There we go. Keep fighting. Rebuild what is lost. I had more lasers than this. As you can see, the external build has not gone very well. There we go. Please keep building. So we've lost a few things. We've gained a lot more lasers, which is a shame, but there we are. And we did lose a few things, but whatever. We are still growing. We are still holding. Just a little bit of loss. We'll put that down in the books as, I don't know, a problem in the system. Our biggest issue now will be attacks will be from multiple sides. Of course, eventually it'll be entire sides. But right now we are still good to go. We can carry on expanding and building the death laser. The central one is being put in now. We are now prepared for death laser. It won't be the best, but it will be kind of cool. Death laser. Let's charge it. So a death laser is quite simple. You do this, and then it goes pulse. Like that. So how the left laser works, if you watch it, the first laser fires, then the next laser on the connector fires, which powers it up with range and a bit of damage. So it'll go pulse, and every laser connected to that will also then fire. So pulse, all of this pulses. So you can put all the energy really quite far away, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, if you did 20 lasers connected to each other, you'd have the same range as a big pulse like this, but it would take 20 ticks for all the damage to accumulate. So it's best to have nodes of damage. When the node of damage powers, it is much better. So it goes pulse, as you can see here. So that's why you need powerful death lasers. Right now, of course, we are still building and growing those. Well, we are getting what we want, where we want it. Of course, it doesn't really help us that all of our expansions are really quite far away, but we don't need the mining expansions to be very well defended. We need them to survive the waves. We don't need them to survive assault. The core is where the important parts are. The core is where we care. The care cores, as we call it in the core care industry. So the big death laser will literally just melt everything. It's not completely finished, and we do need more laser defense around it, but this is the core of our entire system. We need all the resources, however, to run the darn thing. So that is going to keep on going, and everything we can grab will be grabbed. We'll need more layers of collectors. This is, of course, just to power the central section of it, but it is now ready in principle. Even though we are, of course, losing the externals because power is not making it there in time. In fact, let's just quickly do this. We can send some power to the front line. We cannot afford to keep taking losses, guys. Power the lasers. Enemy forces are now significantly moving against me, as you can see. We are now using a lot of energy just to build up and expand. This is becoming slightly more of a problem. Now, luckily, the death laser should deal with most of it, but this is becoming a problem. They are a little bit too close for comfort, which means the death laser needs to be a little bit closer to the enemy, or larger. We need more to it. But right now, as you can see, it's busy, and these guys keep escaping. But it works. It really does work, as you can see. Just need more of it. More, more, more. Why is there a single enemy inside my defensive position? Why is there no lasers in here? More. There's a slight issue with my circle. The fact there's a little gap just here, so I'm trying to be creative so I don't lose my goddamn mind. This is a little bit of a bigger gap than I'd like, but there we go. That kind of covers it. And that will give us a massive power thing. We are, of course, having a few issues with locals. We should be okay with the local defense systems, but we need more. More energy, more lasers, more everything. We will expand, we will grow, we will terminate. Construction of the new zone is now complete, as you can see. We now have 2 new enemies. These little shuttles, which are super fast, will go for anything important, as you can see. And these guys are death thingamabobs. I've already forgotten what they're called. They are death mites. They will literally retreat away from enemy fire, obviously me, and steal resources to heal themselves. You see this one? It's healing itself. I just lost a really expensive item. But yeah, see, it's healing itself. See that? That's a heal. So we're needing these massive lasers to target them so they can actually not destroy anything, because they are too far away, which is a problem. A big problem. But we should be able to hold out nice and easily. Just kill a few things, keep on the expansion. We've made an extremely basic loop, so all resources now go all the way around. The enemy has noticed this loop and immediately sent an attack wave from 2 important directions, both of which I wish the enemy wasn't there. But they are. They're always there. Always watching. So the beam will be beamy, and death will be deathy. The biggest thing is always constant expansion. If I can keep on expanding and keep on growing, we always need to make sure we're always taking resources, no matter where they are or when they are. As long as resources are being gathered, things will be looking pretty juicy. Of course, as you can see, right now our defensive line is very much an actual defensive line. I've actually had to start to build an actual defensive line. Not a random whatever, an actual defensive line, which is going to really eat into my resources. But we're getting there, and we're even getting some missiles up and running. But we are getting there, which is good. Good, good, good. All of it's vaguely good, at least. Another attack from the north, nice and simple. Our northern defences are our current ones. We just need more and more and more energy. We are holding steady. We are holding for now. I think wave 25 and 30 might be a problem, but we are good to go for now. One of the big things we need to do is learn to loop our defences outside of our actual defensive lines. We need obviously the big central core and our next level defensive line. Any resources outside of that, we just go to grab them, and then we don't care if it gets destroyed. So there'll be external mining systems, as you can see, but that's not where our defences are. They're going to be looping out of the defences. So we have multiple layers of defences currently. It's not the best, but it will be what it will be. We are expanding, we are growing. Expansion is happily and constantly ongoing. We have multiple outcroppings, as you can see, grabbing resources outside of the external area. Whenever the enemy hits a point, we move where we're grabbing the resources from. So attacking from the north, we go steal everything from the south. We are equal opportunists. Everything must be stolen in the best way possible. Why is there missile fire going south? Everything must be stolen. We need all the resources. Nothing will be left behind apart from the dead. Probably ours at this rate, but the dead, nonetheless. The biggest trouble we'll always have is the enemy does actually know where you're building towards. As you can see, this area is undefended, and there's 2 separate attack waves hitting it. So the north is actually doomed in that way. So what I'm adding is a couple of missile launchers here and there. It's a bit of a waste. And alternating between these. These are the mortar tempest. They go boof, boof, and that's a big air effect. So we're adding air effect tempest missile launchers. And obviously got the range of the longer stuff. They don't need the range of the longer stuff. They just need to be there to provide overwhelming, annoying firepower. Let's actually detonate you. We can overcharge these and detonate them. They'll kill everything in the area and keep on moving. Because every little thing is going to be exploded. There we go. Glorious. Oh, you still survived. Never mind. Pull everything back, sell everything off, carry on living the life of luxury. We will never, ever, ever let them have what they want. There we go. And retreat back into my safety hole. The death laser's definitely working. It doesn't look right at the top, but as you can see, it's definitely working. The kills are getting up there. It needs, obviously, more connections to make it more powerful. But the first layer is now complete. Just to work on the next set of layers. And build up, and build up, and build up. Although the edges are being semi-overrun. Oh god, very overrun. We need probably a few more defences down here. This was only meant to be a little simple area. It's just covered in death. Covered in so much death. Attacks are going on nicely. We have expansion and extension to multiple different mining areas, as you can see. Different areas are fully extended, although we are not using this for its full potential because it hasn't got the range, so it's currently just doing lasery death over here. It is what it is, but what it is a problem. So, yeah, it is what it is, a problem. We'll work on that. We'll work on that a lot very soon. Just got to keep on going, growing, and expanding. The death laser must grow. And the enemy is getting more problematic by the second. Like, a lot of the second. We're actually going to have to start doing actual layers of lasers and probably even miniature heavy lasers, you know, like 5 or 6 connected to one, to just be able to deal with the fact that there's huge amounts of these things now. They need to not be here. See, there's just too many of them. Luckily we have a lot of missiles, but there's still too many of them. Again, we've expanded. The enemy has tried to hit me hard. There's a massive expansion of here, of me doing mining, and the enemy is just all over it. So, solid, this area is now gone. We expanded to the enemy held territory over here. We push, we crush, we do a bit of a smush. Everything will be mine eventually. Oh, my favourite enemy is finally here. The mothership. These, given a time, every couple of seconds will spawn 3 of the shuttles in. These are priority targets by missiles and heavier lasers. Which means I'm going to need some more hunter killers out in these external areas. These need to be killing those. We cannot have them active outside of my laser turret range. That's a problem. And why is the enemy still coming from this side too? They're attacking both sides I'm trying to grab resources from. Typical. Typical indeed. Anytime I build anywhere an attack happens, as you can see, if it only builds in the south, and as you can see in the south, there's a massive wave only hitting this little nodule. We are having issues. We're having quite major issues. We do not need these guys in my territory, but we're running out of places to put the energy and the resources. So detonate this, kill a few of them. I don't care how many you kill, it's just 1 or 2. And we need more resources. If we're not gathering resources, we are having problems. Good. Kill a few of them. Fire more missiles. Keep shooting everything. Okay, the death laser's getting to the second layer, as you can see. There are a few little locals in, which shouldn't be there because the big death laser won't target them. But we have firepower. Now, if I really need to, I can do this and have even more firepower targeted. So as you can see, it's coming along. It still looks a little bit weird to me, but this super laser is effective. We just need to keep on growing and expanding the second tier. The second tier of destiny. As we gather all the resources. Are we still gathering resources? Gathering some of the resources wherever they are. The laser's definitely working. Look at this kill. Boop, 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 boop. The outer layer is steadily becoming more powerful as time goes by. Of course, we do need more energy. We need more lasers. It still looks very off, but the inner ring is done. The outer ring is being prepped. The Death Doomy Laser Destiny is coming, and now we have armoured sources. These are literally just heavier armoured units. They just take more firepower. But with the Death Laser, as you can see, it's only a couple of extra seconds, but we're getting there. And the enemy is now on all combat fronts, so that's also a big issue. All combat fronts is a problem. So we definitely need to start beefing up all defences. We expand the Doom Laser, which has just wiped out an entire wave on its own. The Death Laser now has overwhelming firepower over every single side of my base. It almost covers up to here, as you can see. So it is now turning to engage all targets. Of course, it's a single Death Laser, so it's not turning as fast as I'd like, but it is killing a lot of priorities, so it's really helping out. Gloriously helping out. We still, of course, need a basic defensive wall as well to stop the stragglers. But anything which isn't a straggler, oh, that's dead. That's very much dead. Also, we need all you energy back in the base. Please, we are running out of energy. But everything is really going well. The Death Laser's getting stronger, and everything is getting explodier. Expansion is becoming an issue. We do need more resources. We also need better defensive lines. We also, sadly, need more energy out there on the field. Energy on the field is a big one. Obviously, we have attacks coming all over the place. And most of our lower area is meant to be designed, as you can see temporarily, as a big, massive Death Laser. The Death Laser only covers the south, which means to keep on going, we need to have more energy out there. You are a little bit off, you are. Which is, of course, another problem. We do not have the energy in the right places right now, which is a bigger issue. We need to make sure that our energy is doing what we need it to, which means we need even more energy, which means the energy is again on the front. So let's keep on working on it. More energy, because the spice must flow. And obviously each one of these is 100. Actually, it's 50. I'm lying to you. It's 50 to build and 15 to actually put down. But it's even more resources we do not yet have. But if we run out of energy on the front lines, we're dead too. So it's a lovely, lovely catch-22 of spend and hope. And spending and hoping is becoming a problem, as you can definitely see. And there's big jumpy guys now. The big jumpy guys are a problem. They're a major problem, because they take a lot of hits, and when they land, they crush a lot of things. So we are just going to steadily push the front line forwards. Every time there's an attack, we will always expand outwards towards the attack. We need all the resources we can get. We are now at a stage where gathering resources, while cool, is also slow and dangerous. So every time an attack happens, we clear it, we push out further. We keep on expanding and growing the defensive lines. That's right, defensive lines are now super important. We need to make sure if we get hit from multiple different directions, we can actually hold off on multiple different directions. So a lot of resources are now in the defensive position. And of course, the locals are still a bit of a problem here, as you can see, because we're still not completely done around here. So we're still building some basic defences to stop the enemy completely destroying us. Which is, of course, a problem, because they are still destroying us quite a large chunk-wise. We now have multiple attacks from multiple directions. There's 2 attacks coming from the north-east, as a large attack coming from the south-west, which means my defensive laser is now dealing with everything at once. This is why we actually need multiple fallback positions and loads more energy. The energy is not flowing fast enough. The lines are just not getting the resources, and the locals, as you can see, are actually getting deployment of spawners down, which is also not good. Not good at all. So we will deal with that. And we've also just lost this area here. That should be fine. No, we are going to pull that back. Again, what we can do here is as much as we can do. Do that, detonate that. There we are. Bring it all back if we can. Any resources we can bring back, we always will. And things are going mostly okay, Dory. The front lines are now solidifying. As you can see, there's a dual layer of defences and stuff going on. Multiple turrets are going up and around, and we have huge amounts of more mining going on. The mining, of course, is the more important part. We will grab everything, take everything, and hope for the best. Otherwise, doom be upon us. The entire external area has done what it can, but there's huge amounts of attacks now ongoing, and all of the mining operations may have to be briefly wrapped up. Because the enemy is, I'll be honest, I think the phrase not impressed is probably the one I'd be using here. They are not impressed with my attempts at earning a nice, easy living. So there's a few issues going on. Yeah, the entire external mining area is now gone. There are multiple attacks across all the front, as you can see. I'm having to constantly turn these things into heavy lasers to bring down some of the spawn. It's not ideal, but it is what it is, and these little guys are stealing all my resources, as you can see, which is also not ideal. Now we are, like I say, losing some of the external stuff, but the missiles are dealing with most of it. We just need to make sure they're dealing with all of it, and they are sadly not. The Death Laser is now at nearly 3,000 kills. The missiles, as you can see, are picking off all of the spawners, so it's mostly just close range combat. We are getting there, but the attacks, as you can see, are everywhere, so my major laser is getting confused. This is the big issue with the whole one laser, one situation. We have one laser for all the situations, not just one of them. Always pushing. The south is now our main mining operation. We built this directly into the enemy attack. It's going well. Cost us some resources, but we are gaining some back. Because the north is apparently about to have a happy fun time. Never mind, the south is about to be attacked. We are in problems with our resource gathering. I guess it's time to just expand the Doom laser for 1,000 points. It's fair to say the south mining operation has fallen. By a little bit. Can you tell where the little bit is? Because there's a few highly explosive detonations going on, and there's a huge amount of very, very, very happy spawners. So we're going to do this and see if we can kill them. There we go. So they're just outside of range, as you can see. That's a problem we cannot fully solve yet until we get the mining laser and the Doom laser to be more effective. Because this is mining for blood. Unfortunately, they're robots, so there isn't any. But we're trying nonetheless. The enemy is getting dangerously close to my lines now. This is actually what we call a problem. Because the enemy is now in my lines. Which means I have to keep turning off parts of the death laser to open fire. Which is obviously pretty bad. I can literally just go, oh, we're in the lines, go boop, and there we go, combat. We don't really want to do this, but we can. And the problem is, once you do this, there's less firing going on. We've lost the south. The west is problematic. Here's my favourite phrase of the day. But we are still holding. We just need, obviously, more going on. Our mining is non-existent, because it was all completely destroyed. There's a problem going on here. Can you tell what it is yet? Yeah. Now, luckily, you know, we have the ability to hold. Just don't think it's going to be helping for much longer. Oh, dear, there's so much going on. Yeah, we're getting bigger issues. They are literally fully inside of our lines now. The outer defensive line is not yet complete. We are struggling because of it, so I need to really expand the south edge. The other sides, of course, have multiple lines of defense. The south does not, so it's time to actually build the next tier. So I'm going to sink 1,800 resources to getting a vague line of defense up and running. How vague? Probably very vague, but we definitely need it once this is all no longer attacking me. Okay, the defensive line of the new one is going up ever so slightly. This will help out a lot more. Let's get this up and running. Perfect. Oh, Mundo. More firepower, more defensive lasers. Of course, it's not completely done, but it will be donely complete. The enemy forces are definitely pushing us more than I'd like to admit. We are in dire straits, so we'll deal with it as and when we can. Things are definitely heating up, but Wave 98 and Doom is approaching us, as you can see. Huge amounts of Doom. Can we survive? The odds are not currently in our favour. Resources growth is negative, as in we literally have nothing coming in, and everywhere we would like to get resources is currently a war zone, so a big war zone too, so problems are now officially mounting in a significant category. The absolutely significant category. We just need half these things to not be here, especially the spawners. Those mothership spawners need to not exist. And here comes the next wave. Doom be upon us. Can we survive? It's looking difficult. And 100 days has officially passed. As you can see, our defensive line is still holding. We are expanding the resources. This network is coming along here. And there is a minor issue apparently over here too. So resources need to be done a bit more. Need to make sure... we need to make sure something like that doesn't happen. That was pain. We just lost 2 of the things. But with this going on, we have a defensive wall. It is not the best, but it is in fact here. If you'd like to see more of this, 100 days of surviving, building the super laser, please of course definitely tell me. This is Harvest Massive Encounter. I've done a series on it before, and it is part of the 100 days series. If you definitely want to see more of a 100 days series, definitely tell me, and more of it will be forthcoming. 100 days in multiple games, and all the cool ways. This is one of my first attempts. I've been the Fallen Shogun. Take care. Be awesome, be epic, be amazing, and I'll be seeing you sometime soon. Goodbye, and good luck.